Welcome to the Run Cult podcast, where running meets the culture. I am your host, Rebecca, and today we have another mover and shaker here in the Atlanta running community. Representing Motion Run Club, we have Reggie right here as their founder and creator. How are you, Reggie?
Hey, I'm good. I'm blessed. Happy to be here.
Hey, I'm so excited for you to be here. Thank you so much for being able to make it, and trying to coordinate with different guests and things.
Yeah.
I've been blown off. I've been not responded to, and it can be a little bit of just a journey and laborious just to get people on the show. So I appreciate you being here. I came across Motion Run Club through social media, and they have a pretty convenient running meetup that worked with my schedule at the time. So that's kind of how I came across finding Motion. So I'm very grateful for you being here. So how about you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how Motion even came about?
Yeah, so Motion came about organically, I'd say. I never had any intentions on making a run club. It's just something that kind of happened over time. So if we was to go back to 2020, first I started off with just the fact that I ran track in high school, but I didn't do nothing over a 400. I used to always say a mile is all I need. And once I get that mile, I'm good, I'm going home. But it got to a point, you go through school, you get finished with everything, and then when I got out of school, it was like you just go work, go home, and then that's about it. Turn up with your friends maybe every once in a while. And it got to a point where it was just real redundant, real repetitive, until one time my coworkers, they said, we're trying to do a 5K. And so at that point, I was really only focused on finishing the 5K. I'm like, I only do my mile, but I'm gonna do my 3, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna run the whole thing. So when I got the opportunity to do it, I wasn't training for nothing. And so that gave me that kind of itch to get competitive again, where I'm like, I'm trying to go out there, I'm trying to win something, I'm trying to prove to myself that I can do it. And in doing that, I started doing it more often. People started seeing that I was doing 5Ks, and then, next thing you know, people are saying, I'm trying to do a couple of them with you. And so a couple of them with this, you have to coordinate, because the hardest part about going to a race is getting to the actual race. Like, the race is hard, but getting there is the hardest part. So we created an iMessage, the iMessage grew out. Then we end up creating a group me, and then from there, the rest is history. Put a name on it, Motion Run Club, just off the strength of doing races myself, and then boom, people want to do them with you.
Was there something special about the word motion, or?
Yeah, and I would say motion is actually a word that's pretty trendy right now, but at the moment, the conception of it really came from just having a lot going on for yourself. So, of course, you got your motion movement, of course, but what are you doing outside of that? So me and my co-founder, we always used to say, we're running miles, we're doing our thing, but what do you have going on in your life? We was in grad school at the time, getting ready to graduate, and you start to see that separation between, maybe your friends at one point where you all been on the same level, and then when you get to a point where you really got a lot going on, you stepping on stuff, it's like
you really
got that motion. So really just leveling up on the field, off the field, on the track, off the track, in your life, professionally, just having motion, having some stuff going.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself busy, in life. We are always juggling, working out, work, family, school, or whatever. And then also your own personal endeavors, like wanting to do a business or have a podcast or, anything like that. So that's dope.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And tell us a little bit about your background. You are from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So you were born here.
Yeah.
Which part?
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up, because I get irritated talking about this conversation all the time. And I'm sure we'll get into it. I'm an urban planner. So I'm from the east side of Atlanta. So there is a difference.
Let them know.
There is a difference. You have the East Atlanta, that's all inside of the city of Atlanta. That is a neighborhood in Atlanta, but then you have the broader east side. So we're outside the city. You got your Columbia, Wesley Chapel, Panola Road, Stone Mountain, Reading, Decatur, unincorporated Decatur, because there is a difference. So I'm from the east side.
DeKalb County.
Yes, DeKalb County. And so I grew up there. Then when my parents separated at one point, so my mom ended up getting an apartment in Roswell. And so if you know anything about the metro area, Roswell is very different from South DeKalb. So I went from being in a space that I would call it an HBCU community, a lot of black people doing a lot of good things, going to a space where I'm the extreme minority. And so that kind of got me into a mindset of, why is there a difference between the north side, the south side, the east side? Why are resources different? Why are the sidewalks here? Why are all the roads paved and everything is cut? So by the time I got to college, I figured out, I'll figure out why that is the case at some point. I didn't really think too much about a career out of it. But then I took one class, Atlanta's Geographies, and I learned about redlining. I learned about, systematic racism, policies, all that good stuff. And I lived it. I lived in a space where initially it was just, it was normal to not have a rec center to go to. It was normal to not have too many grocery store options or food options. But then when you learn about it being intentional, I was like, man, I want to do my part to be able to figure out why that's the case. And so when I found out about urban planning, I said, that's what I want to dedicate my career to. And really, my whole mission is to make sure every person, no matter your socioeconomic status, have access to a quality of life, nice school, good retail, all that good stuff.
Absolutely amazing. So maybe we'll get a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very interesting because we are running the Atlanta streets.
Yeah.
So we should know a little bit more about these streets that we're running, especially when we do these races. Also, just running all over the place with these run clubs.
Yeah.
So having Reggie was just so important to me because he has this very niche information about the Atlanta city landscape. So we'll get a little bit more into that, but let's see. Oh, wait, that was my next question.
Oh, good. So that works out.
Okay. So when you were taking the Atlanta geographies, that was in college or?
Yeah, I was in college in undergrad. Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you go?
I went to the University of West Georgia. So shout out to my Wolves, man.
Hey.
Go West.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And what was your major?
So at West Georgia, my major is geography.
Wow.
So I really was into maps and then learning about people and how people relate to spaces and places and how they interact with each other. And then from there, I got my master's degree in city and regional planning from Georgia Tech.
Got it. So tell everyone currently what you do.
Yeah.
And how your life is just jam-packed with busyness and how that kind of intertwines with running.
Yeah. So I'm an urban planner, and with that, the easiest way to say it is I work with community development. And so by community development, I mean that goes from, I'll start with my niche. My niche is housing and community development. There's plenty of other lanes in it, but what I do is we help neighborhoods get what they've been wanting, needing, or just be able to speak for themselves to say, this is what we want our neighborhood to look like in the future. And so I work for the city of Atlanta right now. I'm a project manager inside of the Office of Housing and Community Development, which is inside of the Department of City Planning. And so I work on the Mayor's Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative. And so what I do is I work specifically with the Thompsonville Heights neighborhood. Before coming to the city, I was a consultant working in an urban planning consulting firm. And we were just helping neighborhoods all around the Southeast and the Eastern United States. And so I really wanted to focus on one space. So when this opportunity came up to work with this one neighborhood and spend all of my time here and effort, it was a perfect opportunity. So being able to help this neighborhood go from, experiencing a lot of disinvestment to be able to be a part of changing the neighborhood for the next generation is my dream in terms of helping Black people and minorities get what they deserve in terms of a living space.
Interesting. Absolutely amazing. Is there anything that has any ties to running when it comes to these neighborhoods? Because I know you mentioned things like sidewalks, or, just beautiful spaces and things like that.
When you think about it, a lot of the things that ail minorities is very preventable health issues. So high blood pressure, hypertension, all that good stuff. So when you look at the physical environment, a lot of our neighborhoods don't have sidewalks. We don't have access to trails oftentimes, or if we do, we have a large park that everybody goes to that's not necessarily easy because of parking or whatever. And so with running, one of the biggest frustrations I had when I was in the cab is, there's no sidewalks. I'm sitting here, I'm in a dangerous situation when I'm running against cars, trying not to get hit, but that's an obstacle in itself. Maybe we'll talk about that in cars eventually, right. But not having access to places to run, just healthy outlets. So that combination is another thing that kind of motivates me to do what I can to get neighborhoods the materials and the outlets that they need to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. Because if you are in close proximity to a nice rec center, to a nice park, to a nice walking trail, your entire physical can change just by being close to it. But if you have to hop in a car and ride 25, 30 minutes to get to where it is, the likelihood of you really changing your physical health or physical condition it's very low, if that makes sense.
So is it the mayor's responsibility to jumpstart or initiate that revitalization, or is that something that the community has to rally around to get done? Or how could a neighborhood go from not having any sidewalks to possibly having like a walking path or something like that?
Well, I say it's a responsibility of everybody. So you'll hear the mayor, he says it all the time where, Atlanta's a group project, which is true. So it takes city officials, it takes council members, and mostly neighborhoods. Like if you have your neighborhood association, that's something I really want everybody to know. Like if you're living in a space, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. You have to be civically engaged. If you're not engaged in what's going on with your neighborhood or the things that you're not getting or you feel like you should, you have to be able to advocate for yourself on that in a certain sense. If you don't care about it, nobody else is going to care about it. If I'm living in a neighborhood, I have a problem with the sidewalks, or I got a problem with the fact that we don't have a early learning center or elementary school, no one's going to care because they're not there. You are. So go to your neighborhood leadership or become the neighborhood leader. If there's a gap or, there's an aging population in leadership, young people need to get in there and be able to advocate for themselves. Then you can work with your council member. You can work with the administration that already is big on neighborhoods and trying to make sure everyone has a nice place to live and raise a family. So it's everybody. It takes me, it takes you, grandma, dad, everybody to really make a nice space a nice space. Yeah.
Oh man, he's putting the responsibility on us.
I'm starting to heat up a little bit.
Well, it takes a village to I guess raise the community. So that's important. I think it is kind of hard to hear a little bit because it's like, damn, I got even more work to do on top of, life.
Yeah.
But, our communities depend on it and so do the generations that come up under us. So it's nice that we have someone who's literally like of the culture, a young person who's doing the work that we can see and touch in real life. Because I swear, guys, like when we had gone running and you were telling me a little bit more about what you do, and I was like, unicorn. Like, I just don't have people in my network that are like that tapped into the city. So, it takes giving you the platform to speak and hearing a little bit more so we can all work together because there's plenty of work to do. And, when I was in South Fulton and when we were at the running event at Big Peach, I did notice that there weren't any like sidewalks.
Yeah.
So it made me think like, this is a nice neighborhood, but they ain't got no sidewalks. How are they going to get these 6 miles in or something like that? Like,
and it's a little bit different too when it comes to urban farming where you are. So South Fulton's real suburban, and depending on how much I would say city or area is interested in creating sidewalks will determine that. So like when you think about it in the city, everything is a lot more dense. About dense, I mean, there's a lot more people in a smaller amount of space. So there's a lot of people that need to move around all different type of ways, cars, buses, trains, all that. So to be able to move people around and have all these office towers, you have to have sidewalks. Otherwise, you'll just be building in the street. In the suburbs, it's mostly residential most of the time or commercial or industrial uses. So it's just cars and trucks moving around. It's not necessarily people moving from place to place because everything is so spread out. Everything's large, really large lots. So that's why you don't see a lot of sidewalks in a lot of suburban places. But now, as planning is starting to evolve and people are really understanding you have to plan the space holistically. You can't just plan for these businesses and the trucks that need to get in and out. You have to plan for, how is people going to interact with this as they're walking by? Like this is a long stretch of road. You don't want to be walking in the sun for 5-6 miles. So let's plant some trees, break it up. Let's think about the streetscape and what that looks like. So it really just depends on where you are. And the further you out, more than likely you're not going to have as many sidewalks because there's less people. But the closer you get into the city, it's a whole different running experience.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So I won't do too much on South Fulton. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about running and motion. So tell us a little bit about motion, the community. I know you kind of spoke a little bit about how it came about, but thus far, how have things been going? And tell us a little bit about what makes motion special.
Yeah, motion has been blowing up. Like I say all the time, we only been around maybe about a year and a half, a year and some change, but what we built, and I say we because motion ain't about me, it's not about my co-founder. Motion is about all of us. And I was telling you when we first met, it's just like I want it to be beyond one person. Like the community is really what pushes it. Like I'm surprised every single day. Like if I can't make a run, the run is still happening. if I can't be
It's
there,
bigger than
or
you.
it's bigger than me, I'm not the face. So I wanted to be where if you go on a motion page, you can't tell that there's one person that's a part of this. All you see is so many different faces, so many different leaders. Motion is real fluid, and we wanted to make it a really accessible space for whoever wants to get into running and get into the community, get into the fitness culture in general. So I always say, the basis is always gonna be running. We're gonna be out in the streets, we're gonna run, we're gonna go to these races, we're gonna do what we gotta do. But we're really just about promoting fitness overall. So, not too many people run in general. So if you're a gym person, if you're a Pilates girl, if High Rocks, whatever you own, everything could really benefit from you having a good cardiovascular type of situation. So if we can provide a space for you to feel comfortable without the pressure of, yeah, we about to run 6 miles, 8-minute pace. It ain't that serious. Just pull up. Yeah, like I wouldn't go to that if I wasn't really big on running. So walking, running, jogging, or even just getting out. We wanted to create a third space outside of the bars and the clubs, because I get tired of spending money. I ain't trying to stand up on couches all the time. I'm not trying to drop $200 at a dinner. So what else can I do that's free where I can get with my folks? And every Saturday at Motion, you got an opportunity just to go out there, chop it up, see your people, and then go about your day and get it over with.
Yeah. And I'll let you guys know that Motion is very like chill, kind of relaxed, I would say, as like maybe a characteristic. There are folks there who are always, either going the distance. There are some that do go the distance, but I would say generally, like, people are just doing maybe 2 or 3 miles, walking as well. And it's very chill. So, when you go to Motion, you're going to feel like they're not going to leave you. At the very least,
we ain't gonna leave you.
you're not gonna get left, because they're also not going crazy distances as some other run clubs. So, maybe if you are looking to start to get into running, it might be like a good launching pad.
Yeah, I say, and we have something for everybody. So we do get competitive in our group. It's just a matter of, if you're coming for that, we got you. Like, we got some folks. Like, you really got to be ready to slide if it's time to slide. So wherever you're at in your running journey, come out. We got somebody to match energy with you, that's for sure.
Got it. Well, I've also seen that you guys have thrown some events and have had some, looks like, collaborations with different brands. What's happened so far?
Yeah, and believe it or not, it hasn't been that many. So I thought about that question, and I was like, it seems like we've had a lot of opportunities to collab with a bunch of different brands, but it's really just been opportunities that have come organically just from, y'all are doing that, we're doing this, let's do it together. So the first big one, I say, had to come from New Balance. So shout out to my boy Scott. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure he'll see this, but shout out my boy Scott.
I think we follow each other. Hey, Scott.
Yeah, hey Scott, what's up, man? But he had gave us like our first opportunity to work with the major brand. I say, came out, did our first shoe demo, and that was a really good moment, because it felt like, okay, Motion is really here, and it's something that people want to be a part of, that has some value. And so from there, we went from having the first shoe trial. A lot of people got to come out, and because of the type of environment we have of trying to get people more into the running and fitness culture, it's like, well, come try on these shoes. They for the free. We're gonna have some root beer floats. Check it out. Get to see the vibe, see the space. Madison Yards is a beautiful area, and then maybe you'll want to come back. And that's exactly what happened. So that kind of gave us our first real taste of what collaboration can look like. Then there's another one at the same time, or a couple weeks after that, we went to go hike Stone Mountain with another woman. She has a club, or I'll say a group called Sisters in the City, Sierra.
Okay.
So we went to hike Stone Mountain. I think we had about 60 or 70 people going up Stone Mountain.
Oh my God.
And so it was beautiful just to see that many people waking up at the crack of dawn, coming from wherever they're going to go up Stone Mountain. So things like that, it was just the opportunity. We meet some good people see what we got going on. They come out, they feel the vibes. They're like, yeah, I want to be able to do something with y'all whenever I can. And we always provide that opportunity. So we even tell our community, if you have an idea, just let me know. Come talk to me, come talk to my co-founder. If you feel like we have a good opportunity to help you boost whatever you're trying to do, if it makes sense for what we're doing, let's do it. It's community. So it's just, if anybody has an idea or anything they want to come with us to do or help promote something, as long as it makes sense what we're doing, we're always open to doing it. So we want to be able to help you build, if you're building something, even like with the podcast. I love the concept. I like what you're doing with it. So I'm like, let me go ahead and support where I can, so we can say, we had a piece of that to help build someone trying to build something they care about.
You are so community minded, so focused. That actually, as you were speaking, it reminded me of a few weeks ago, we all went on a run with Motion, and they made it a deliberate choice to, after the run, to go to a particular Black-owned smoothie shop.
Yeah.
And we all mobbed over there. There was like 20 of us, and we all spent our dollars with this particular smoothie shop that I didn't necessarily know was in the area.
Yeah.
I didn't really know. So talk to us a little bit about why you know, where that comes from, and why it's important to you to kind of platform and you know, show love to these Black businesses. Because just so y'all know, where we meet for the running, there's another smoothie shop that's like right
sure
there.
It is another spot.
You know, it took actual effort to kind of, you know, go a few blocks away and try a new place. So yeah, tell me a little bit about that, because it seems integral to you as a person.
Yeah, I'm big on community. That's why I dedicated my life and my career to it. Building community and helping people that don't necessarily always get those opportunities, especially being Black, and especially in this city. Like, we are the model for what it's like to be a Black person with the ability to go as high as you want to go within a space where that's normal. I've been in a lot of cities around the U.S. where, you know, we might have a presence there, but we're not at the table. In Atlanta, we are all across the board when it comes to, you know, the very simple jobs all the way to the mayor of the city, and that is normal to see. And so there's a lot of places and a lot of neighborhoods that don't get that type of opportunity. So because we're here and we're all working on this same group project together, I try to make it my mission to uplift anybody that's doing something. If you care about it, I care about it, because no one's gonna care about it as much as you, but I wanna be that person that you can go to and be like, you know, that person really supported me, and I would want that support from other people as well. So I try to reciprocate the energy. And so that opportunity came up because we just ran into the gentleman that, you know, that owns that shop. We was out there. I believe that one of our Motion members just ran into him, just started talking about Motion, because when you see a large group of Black people, it's always like, what's going on? It's not always a good thing that people say that.
For better or worse.
But it's like, what's going on? So when it's something positive, we always get some really good energy. And so we got to talk with a gentleman who just opened up a Tropical Cafe franchise in Reynoldstown. And so he wanted to have an opportunity to have people come out and, you know, try it out, because the spot that's right there where we ended is pretty expensive for what we're getting, and the product's not all that great. And so he's like, man, why don't you just come around the corner and just down the block a little bit and try us out? And I'm like, well, I'm always going to want to support a Black business. And I don't want to say the power, but the influence to really make a difference for this block or this 1 hour of time. So what we just went out there, showed our love, showed our support to be able to support, because, you know, we don't always get that type of love. So whatever I can do from my own right and my influence to help a Black person or anybody looking to work on something they're passionate about, I try to do that.
Absolutely amazing. Well, yeah, we all walked over there. It was good too.
Yeah, it was.
We had a little line, but we all made the best of it. I got to meet. I think I met like 4 girls while I was waiting in line. For the smoothie. So, you know, it's just very interesting to be around people who are that focused on community. I think, you know, even I have some work to do. Even though I do have a podcast that is, I guess, community centered, but you know, there's levels to it. So, I'm always curious to see, you know, why you would make that point. But yeah, alrighty. So, tell us a little bit about your vision for Motion. Maybe, you know, in the future or in an idealistic kind of sense. What do you envision for Motion?
I see Motion being the premier social fitness group within the city of Atlanta, because it's a Black city, this is a Black group, and I wanted to reflect what the city has going on. It's a lot of people with a lot of good stuff going on. So I want to create a space where Motion is more like a lifestyle type of brand. So of course we always gonna push running. Running is our base, that's our foundation. But being able to say, you know, I got Motion, I'm doing my thing, I'm fit, I'm healthy, and I'm also excelling in school. I'm excelling in my career. So being able to have a space where all those people that have this type of forward-thinking lifestyle, healthy living, achieving the highest level of greatness that I can get, all of them being able to relate and come together in this one space. So that's what I'm really looking forward to grow into. Like I don't really care so much for the numbers, but as long as I'm really building that community where people know each other, they can hold each other accountable.
He not gonna follow you back, just anybody.
Hey, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that has come up a couple times where they're like, how come the motion page don't follow me back? Well, I got to see you, man. I got to see you. You got to come back around. Like, if I see you and I know you coming, you done came out, you done show love, you support, you working on yourself, you support the brand, you support what we got going on, I'm gonna follow you back easy. Like, it's not an exclusive thing, but we want people that's really bought into what we got going on. Because like I say, motion is bigger than just me. So it's not me not following you back. It's not, my co-founder not following you back. Is we thank you for supporting. Please follow us. I'm gonna always say follow us. But for us to really keep this going in a way and what we built with the culture and the just amount of buy-in we have from people, we need you there. That's the only way we keep this thing going. So if you're there, we can have 1 million followers. I'll follow back anybody who's willing to lock in with us, come out there and really push the whole motion mission, really.
Got it.
But definitely follow the page. Don't get me wrong. Follow that page. We need you, but I want to see you too. Follow the page and come out. I need to see you.
We'll put the page name on the screen. All right, cool. So it takes two. It's a two-way street with motion. So y'all need to participate and it'll come back around.
Collaborations when it comes to this run club scene, I never would have thought that there's so much bureaucracy when it comes to run clubs.
Really?
Yes, man. Like, of course, I got a career.
In politics, too.
Politics in the running community, like, I do my best to stay neutral as best as possible. Like, I'm not trying to rock the boat. We not making no real money off of none of this stuff. We all got jobs. People got kids. So it's just like, we out here for the general health, personal health in general. So when it comes to that two-way street, when we talking about collaborations and brands, it's like, a lot of these brands will come and they try to eat off your plate, in my opinion. That's how I say it. They want to eat off your plate, but they don't want to provide and bring nothing to the table. So when it comes to relationships between clubs, between brands, between people in general, you have to have that, okay, I'm giving you this, but what am I getting in return? It doesn't always have to be monetary when it comes to brands. It doesn't always have to be, I'll need some of y'all people to follow me on my page because I'm coming out here and doing this. As long as we have a general understanding with every engagement, we're really big on what can we do for you and how can we help you. So just like with this podcast, you come out, you support motion, I'm gonna definitely come and give you that same type of energy.
I earned my follow back, y'all.
Yeah.
I put in the work. But I think that if a brand or any type of entity tries to come to motion, they should understand that it's rooted in community, like even more than other run clubs because of who you are, the culture, you and your co-founder, and what your beliefs, your core beliefs is very community centered. So I think maybe the mistake that may have been made is maybe they just didn't really know that about you because you're heavy on community.
And I feel like I definitely can probably do a lot better with trying to get that out there. And I think this was a good opportunity to really share that. So if anybody is interested in working with motion, just hit the page, come talk to us. And then first thing we're going to say is, how can we help you? If we're having a conversation, you need what do you need to be successful in this engagement? If it's KPIs where you need this many people to scan your code or you need this many people to show up, let us know that. And we're happy to help do everything that we can as long as you're coming to the table with something. We got something for you too. Make sure you're doing good well.
That's fair. That's how we can all
work together
and succeed and get the things that we need, because it's not just give and no take just for clout.
Yes. Clout that's a hell of a drug, boy. Clout is big, but clout run out after a while because people see it for what it is. And so as genuine as you can be, that's how we try to really put out there. We're going to show you love. We're going to show up. You got something going on, cool. But at the end of the day, like I say, we are a community-based organization. We're not trying to make money. We're not trying to make it be this big thing. It's just whoever want to be here, we love to have you. We all about general health and fitness and just being the best version of yourself.
Got it. Someone like you're probably the most maybe media trained or at least politically
No, I appreciate that.
well, I would say like savvy when it comes to politics, since you work in politics. How does that is there like a parallel that you see in running that you also need to use those same tools to navigate?
Yeah, I definitely I see that happen a lot of times, just because with politics, it's all about relationships and who you have relationships with. And so I try to manage expectations of the club, expectations with myself. And if I hear something, I don't hear anything, if that makes sense. So if people have issues with each other or clubs don't necessarily rock with other clubs, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I try to stay out of it. That's the best thing I can say. Try to stay neutral. I don't want no problems. The last thing I want to do is finish a run or be running in my safe space, thinking about whatever type of situation I'm creating or not trying to be a part of. But it's hard. It's really hard. The work that I do does involve a lot of politics and a lot of relationship management. So I think it does help a lot having that kind of background, dealing with it on the biggest stages or the most critical things going on in the city. I say that when it comes to dealing with people that are not so politically charged, it's a little bit easier to try to steer clear of issues and problems, I say.
Interesting. Got it. Alrighty. Well, that's enough on politics and strategy in the run scene here. Let's have some fun.
Yes.
I have a little game. So I wanted to just kind of play a game of like this or that with a play on words with the word motion, since you're here. So we'll see which ones that you answer.
Yeah.
And let's play. So motion versus stillness.
It's always gonna be motion. You gotta have a big motion, man. There ain't no stillness around here.
Hey.
But being stagnant is just you can't. Being stagnant is just not it.
But I said stillness.
Stillness.
When you're being still and grounded and like.
I feel that because Curtis Snow, he got a clip where he was like, "We just still." Like, I understand. I feel
that. Is that a
that.
rapper?
No, Curtis Snow on the Bluff.
Oh,
Damn,
Damn, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Just still. But it's always going to be motion. It's all about, it don't matter how fast or how slow, as long as you're moving towards a better version of yourself, that's what I'm going to always preach. Just keep it moving. But stillness, sometimes you got to sit down, take it in, look at all the things that you accomplished. Because, you can get trapped in the idea of, I got to be better. But
So
you definitely
true.
got to sit down sometimes and be like, man, I've done a lot thus far. You got to appreciate that. But I'm always say, keep it going.
Hey,
keep that foot on the
stop,
pedal.
get it. All right, let's see. Forward motion versus steady motion.
Forward motion. I look at that like walking in general, like outside versus being on the treadmill. Like steady motion, you can stay on that treadmill. You ain't moving nowhere. You're moving, but you ain't moving. And then forward motion is like you're actually progressing. You're going towards another destination. So definitely forward motion. Got to keep that thing moving.
Keep it moving. All right, let's see. City motion versus nature motion.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say city motion. City motion for sure, because there's so many things to see. You get to run through so many neighborhoods. And that's what I love about the races. A lot of these races around the city go through so many different neighborhoods.
So true.
And so being able to see the different characteristics around the neighborhoods, get to see, the crazy things that you might see around the city as you're running, seeing the different restaurants or just exploring new places and crooks and crannies around the city is always good. But that nature, where you need to just escape and get out the city and really enjoy the environment is good. But I'm always say city motion.
That reminds me, well, at least nature motion reminds me of, have you been to Silver Comet?
I still ain't been up there.
Oh,
I ain't got it. So many people have talked to me about it, though. I got to get up there.
That's some serious like nature motion going on. I think it's kind of beautiful, but it's not like super duper beautiful, but it's scenic.
Yeah.
So something to consider. But yeah, I feel you. I love the city too. Like when I was running the Thanksgiving half, we were all up and through like downtown and you just see how people live, people cheering you on, just different houses, like the sidewalks, the restaurants, like so. And I grew up in the city as well, so it's like I like the city slicker type of vibe.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Short sprint in Atlanta or a long run through the city?
Definitely a long run through the city. You can kind of take in the vibes, really check out a little bit. Short sprints is cool. You definitely gonna get your good workout in, but that long ride through all them different neighborhoods, all the different spaces, especially along the Beltline, no matter which part you on,
Yeah.
it's just real therapeutic for me to be able to kind of zone out for a second. 'Cause, you know, when you're running, you can't think about nothing but breathing for the most part.
God.
And so when you got the vibes going on that long run, you got your good pace, you got your playlist going, definitely that long ride is one.
Okay, let's see. Motion unleashed or motion controlled?
Ooh, I'm gonna say motion control. Because motion at least give me crash out vibes. like if you got ultimate motion everywhere and you just off the chain with it, I can see you burning out and being done with. It's like, you know, an explosion versus a nice fire. Nice, give you light, give you warmth. So as long as you can control all that vibes, all that good energy you putting out, you can make a lot of good things happen.
Motion controlled. Okay. Let's see. Sunrise run or sunset jog?
Sunset jog. I'm not waking up for no sunrise. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know how y'all do it. A lot of people like running 7, 6 in the morning. Oof. I cannot do it. My body is not set up to be up, moving around, going through that level. But definitely in the evening time. It's actually even better if it's at night. If it's dead nighttime, real cool. The lights, the aesthetic is a lot better to me. Because I can run midnight all the way up to 2 a.m. if I really wanted to.
Oh.
I would prefer that versus, you know, trying to wake up to catch that sunrise. Can't do
it. You're insane. All right, we'll do one last one. Fast motion versus enduring motion.
Fast motion versus enduring motion. Fast motion, I feel like that is great, but fast motion slows down eventually because you can't stay fast all the time. True. Things will slow down. Potholes, you can hit a pothole for sure, especially in the city. You can hit that pothole. But enduring motion, I think, just like with running, just long distance and running in general, like you have to be able to pace yourself. You got to be able to really take your time, plot, get it right. And it takes more strategy for you to go that long haul versus doing that fast stuff. Like the fast stuff is cool for right now, but being able to do what you got to do to make it last and be something that's truly impactful, we got to have that enduring motion.
Got it. All right. Well, are there any races coming up for you in the future or anything that any like race or running goals you have by any chance?
Definitely, I'm trying to hit a 21 in that 5K this year, for sure.
Oh.
I definitely want to try to hit that half. We'll see if it happens, but I'm definitely trying to hit that half.
Mile, right?
Just about something like that, yeah.
A little bit over.
Yeah, because I just been chasing that 21 for too long. Like I feel like I'm capped at 23 something at the moment, but I know what it takes to get to the other side. I definitely got to strength train a lot more. You know, as runners, we be running from the gym, but I know all I got to do is get in the gym a little bit, get a couple of those track workouts in, and I'll be able to do it. It's just a matter of me getting out there to do it. So I'm definitely trying to hit that 21 in the 5K and definitely trying to get a half marathon in. I keep running from it. I know I can do it, but, you know, sometimes pride just get in the way. I'm like, I don't need to do no dang half marathon. Like, I'm good. I'm sticking with the speed team, hitting them 5Ks, but I'm going to do that half marathon. Those are the two things I'm definitely trying to hit this year. Yeah.
Which half?
Thanksgiving, but shoot, I might go up to DC and it's one that they got going on in September.
Oh, yeah,
I think I'm gonna go ahead and get up there for that. But if not, for sure, the Thanksgiving half. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, pride. Why do you think that we run from the gym?
You know, just I think the build of most runners. You know, usually we're pretty thin, or it's just not our forte to go in there moving heavy things in general. Like it's just easier, and plus, you know, there's a barrier with the gym when it comes to how much you want to pay. Or the fact that you have to go from your house to a place to work out versus you can just walk outside your door, put on your shoes, and you gone, take off. So I think a lot of us just avoid it just by nature of the convenience or inconvenience of getting to the actual gym. That's what I think it is, really.
I feel a little guilty of that, to be honest with you. Luckily, I have a boot camp class that I attend that gets me to the gym. But I recently had a talk with myself, and I was like, these classes ain't cutting it, girl. Like, you need to do something by yourself on your own at the gym. So I think as runners, we kind of just fall into the lifestyle and because it's like, oh, why do I need to go to the gym? I run, but it's like there's more to develop as far as your physique.
Yeah, then them injuries. As soon as you get that first real injury, the first thing anybody gonna tell you, shout out to Spidey, shout out to Sam, all the PTs, the first thing they're gonna say is, are you in the gym? Are you doing your weight training? Are you really making sure that you're trying to prevent the injuries with your weight training? And more than likely, most of all is gonna be like, nah, we ain't do it. But definitely, we all gotta do better with the gym just to make sure we gonna stay up. Because if we trying to keep going, keep running these miles up, your body gonna wear and tear, and the only way you're gonna prevent that is strength training. So I know that's something we all got to get better with.
Oh man, you're shaking the table today. Jeez. Yeah, and now that I think back on it, I haven't had many injuries, and I have been weight training.
Yeah.
So it's something that we have to keep in mind. Well, Reggie, thank you so much for being
for having
on
me.
the Run Cult podcast. I want to give you like a few minutes to maybe deliver any messages to anyone who might be struggling, maybe in a rut or wants to make a change in their life. What would you say to them?
Yeah, definitely put yourself out there. You can't change a situation without making a change in yourself in general. Try different things and definitely come to motion. I always say, of course, I'm gonna promote motion. I'm gonna do what I gotta do with that. But it could be any club. Find a space where, if you're trying to go on your fitness journey, find the one that fits you. There's plenty of opportunities, plenty of clubs, plenty of gyms around the city to be able to try out, to see what fits your schedule, fits your vibe. Try out everybody. I know a lot of people that go around to every single club until they find the one that they want. But just put yourself out there. Make sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to be the best version of yourself. And then just let the journey take you. Show up every day or show up when you can. And then next thing you know, stacked up a bunch of good days to be able to be like, yeah, I'm way better than what I was. And it's only because I took that first step to hop out there, put myself in a better position to try to get there. And the journey in itself and trying to be better will be the most rewarding part, because you'll meet a lot of people and you never know. Them connections that you make might end up being the ones that turn your whole life around.
Hey.
So definitely just get out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tell us about where we can find you on social media, and also Motion, the dates that we meet, and where.
Yeah, so we meet every single Saturday, unless it's some crazy weather event, of course, but at Madison Yards, 10 a.m. in the wintertime, 9 a.m. in the summertime. You can follow us at The Motion Run Club. It's a nice yellow logo that'll pop up with some racing flags around the center of it. But definitely check us out. Come out. We'd love to see you.
Nice. And you do the graphic design, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So all the graphics that you see on the page is done by myself. That's just a nice little side hobby that I do. So motion also gives me an outlet to be able to get as creative as I want to with something that's going to benefit me in general. So all the graphics that you see, definitely check me out. Trustgraphics_ on Instagram. So if you need some help with your club, flyers, events, I'm going to get out for that.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Reggie, for being on the Run Cult podcast. You are a steward to our community. You are making this place better than you found it. And I think that you are creating the beginning of a very long legacy of excellence and effort, as someone who is kind of being a beacon for, progress. So thank you for your efforts. In case ain't nobody said nothing, I think it's very important to see a young person who's cool like us, who's not corny. You make community involvement look cool. So on behalf of all of the runners and the city of Atlanta, I guess, thank you so much for your efforts and your service.
Thank you so much too, Rebecca. I really see this taking off. This is an amazing space. I really appreciate you providing me the platform to talk about my club, talk about the city, talk about neighborhoods, and how we all can really work together to do some really good things when we're working together. So
Facts.
I appreciate you. Great luck with all this. I'm excited to see where this goes, because it's gonna go for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for watching the Run Cult podcast, everyone. And remember, running is not just a sport. It's a culture. Until next time, see ya. Yay, we did it.
That's nice. That's really cool though. Damn. You got me thinking about some stuff, or even talking about some
Yeah.
I ain't had to really talk about it in connection like that. 'Cause of course we got the lived experience of like how we're running, but really talking about how the community running and how that connects to the built environment, just all that kind of stuff. The planning and the running space in general, I haven't been able or haven't had to talk about them together, if that makes sense.
Community
In general. So like how I am with community with work, and then how I am with community.
Oh, in the running space. Oh, really? That's like so obvious to me, because like you do not play.
Yeah.
It's giving like.
Yeah.
It's giving like you ain't finna come up over here and take and pillage. I don't know. I'm somebody who's kind of capitalistic.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I'm a Black woman. I feel like everything is an opportunity for me to like advance myself. But that can be kind of singular and like very individualistic. So when you see someone who's kind of the opposite of that, it's like, oh yeah, there are other people. Like we can do this together. Like it does take a village.
I think you're doing a good job with that though, because the fact that you're doing this running podcast, like imagine you could just be up here talking about running news or different things that happen around the city in terms of running, or talking about all these races that you're doing in your journey, but you're bringing all of these clubs and the leaders in and people that are influential in the space. So I see that. It's like, I think you're doing a great job, honestly. Like that's the most unselfish thing that you can do, is bring people into what you're doing and then providing a platform for them to do it. So I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. All right. Welcome to the Run. I am your host, Rebecca, and I'm sorry. Is it my mic? Yeah. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna start again. Can you do it again, please? We're back. Welcome to the Run Cult podcast, where running meets the culture.